Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right, and to keep us positive, we decided to make this a little bit of a drinking game. That's right, people. We are a positive film podcast, so anytime we say anything negative about a movie...
Negative.
About anything. We say anything negative at all. You're going to hear this sound. That sound means that one or all of us have to take a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So, pour yourselves a glass, and we're going to enjoy Hugh Jackman and his most unlikable character ever.
Most unlikable. That's right, people. The Random Year Generator spun 2013, which was a fantastic year that we will talk about halfway through, not even halfway through the episode. Check the show notes if you want to skip ahead when we get to our conversation of 2013, the film year, the context, and Prisoners, our chosen film for our featured segment, directed by Denis Villeneuve. This movie is leaving Netflix right before Dune comes out, which is very interesting. I was hoping it would go to Max or something, but
it's
no
like they can only
announcement.
have one film by him on there at any one time.
It's almost like Denny's it's almost like Denny's like Netflix is like fuck Denny during this time. As Dune 2 is coming out.
Netflix can't afford movies anymore because everyone's on the ad tier.
And
Honestly,
so if you're listening to this podcast in real time, you have until November 9th, 2024 to watch this on Netflix for free with your subscription or with John's subscription. And we are also going to do a couple mini reviews today.
Yeah, dude.
ARGYLLE came out this weekend. $200 million budget.
You know something funny about that? I tried to connect this morning, my phone, to Netflix in my house on my Wi-Fi. This is not my gripe, by the way.
Sure.
On my Wi-Fi, on the phone that is the account that is paying for the Netflix. So it's Netflix on us. I think we all know who they are. And I got flagged for a device outside my household. It literally popped up and went, "This is a device outside your household." I'm like, "No, it fucking isn't." I'm standing in my fucking house on my home Wi-Fi. Something wrong. Netflix, fix your shit.
That's fucked up. I will say that did happen to me, but it was a device that was logged into a specific account a very long time ago, and I probably deserved it. It was harmless and everything, but it was kind of like, okay, this is obviously somebody logged into this Netflix like 6 years ago, and I was like, yeah, totally, it's true. Okay, so the other mini reviews, spoiler free, quick little mini reviews today. We've got ARGYLLE, which just came out and bombed at the box office. $200 million Matthew Vaughn movie, made 16.5-ish. We got
Ouch.
Poor Things. Emma Stone got her nom. Yorgos Lanthimos. So John and I are going to talk about that. FERRARI. And the news of Lewis Hamilton, the biggest Formula One news, perhaps ever, but certainly in the past 10 years, leaving Mercedes to join Ferrari after this season. What a weird fucking year this is going to be. I decided to watch Ferrari on the day of that news.
He saw that movie and he's like, "Fuck those assholes."
So there you go. Prisoners, 2013. 3 mini reviews. Dave's got a gripe. And then we're going to tell you what we've been watching at the end of the segment. John, do you want to shout our sponsors out?
I do. We have a beer sponsor. His name is Carlos Barroso. You can find that gentleman on Instagram at cbarroso.beer. Check the show notes for the link. We also have a music artist in residence. He plays at the beginning and end of every single episode. It's called Dasein, Dasein. You can find their music available on every usual streaming platform. So go, listen, enjoy. That's
There's a link to it on our link tree. If you just want to click a button, take you right
Nice.
there.
Go there.
You don't have to search.
Yeah, dude.
And also, we have a
a
YouTube, and I've heard it's better to watch than to listen. So go ahead and watch YouTube. You can see us really drink if that makes you happy. John wears a Zelon sweatshirt every week. I don't know how often he washes it. But
you'll never be able to tell what episode it is if you're only looking at my fucking box. It is
You're like
two
when-
shirts that I wear at home, apparently.
You're like when Daniel Radcliffe just fucked over all the paparazzi by wearing the same outfit every day for 6 months. So that all of their photos look like the same
that's
day.
genius.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I'm sure he
gotta see
wasn't
it.
the
It's
first
funny.
to do that, but that's fucking fantastic.
He either had the best day ever or he really did that for 6 months.
Oh, that's so good.
Anything else you want to talk about, John, before Dave gets into his gripe?
No, we'll gripe first and then reviews.
Yeah, let's do it. Dave, take it away. You got the 1 minute gripe timer. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we're going to stick with Netflix because as we've spoken about in the last couple of weeks, I experienced the Netflix ad tier for the first time. this week. And I just want to say, like, Amazon also did the thing where they added the ad tier without an option. They're like, you're fucking ads now.
Yeah.
To pay us $3 or this is it. And the Netflix ad tier and the Amazon ad tier, I like on Amazon, you get like an ad before your movie, and then your movie plays.
Yeah.
On the Netflix ad tier, 15 fucking ad breaks in Prisoners. I open it up and there's 15 little yellow bars where they cut away to a fucking ad in the middle of the movie. And I'm like, fuck this. And not only that, the thing they don't tell you is on the ad tier, there are certain shows you can't fucking watch. You can't get Walking Dead. Sorry, it's unlicensed for the ad tier.
Whoa.
Fuckers.
What the
Dude.
fuck?
Yeah, I think they're going to be in trouble for that shit.
Oh my god.
Did they say
15 ad breaks.
anything? Did they say anything about the number of ads is bullshit? But I guess I wasn't expecting them to say anything
also,
about that. But did
like,
they announce any limitations on IP or
not that I saw. They probably did somewhere in some fucking fine print. But yeah, like because I'm up to season 10 of Walking Dead. And once I reverted back to that, because for anyone who's been following this, I was on T-Mobile and it was Netflix on us. And I just bought my phone outright to keep the fucking plan. I thought, I'll show these fuckers. And they went, no, we'll fucking show you. And went, okay, your Netflix on us is now Netflix ads on us. And downgraded me.
Wow.
Just send me an email. That's it. You've been downgraded. That's what we pay for now. And so, yeah, and basically my first and last impressions of Netflix ad tier lasted about, I want to say 35 minutes because I went straight away and upgraded back to the fucking no ads plan.
Which is why exactly.
Yeah.
How much more money is it?
$8.
A month?
I mean,
Yeah.
they knew people were going to do
$100 a
that,
year,
right?
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
$100
they
a
knew
year.
that was going to happen.
I wonder if you actually watched all those ads, I feel like that would be worth more than $100 a year to them. So what a weird, I don't know what I have no idea what their data looks
What's
like.
the
Yeah,
incentive?
I don't know what
Well-
I guess they're not paying money and that's all that counts.
Yeah, Argyle's going to have
Wow.
to have a lot of commercials to make their money back on Apple TV Plus, that's for sure.
So topical. Look what he did there, folks. He brought it back.
All right, Dave. Well, I'm headed to my Argyle mini review here. So Argyle just came out. That's right. Matthew Vaughn, the director of The Kingsman, who, by the way, this is going to sound crazy, but I didn't expect to see this movie this weekend. A friend asked me to see it. I was like, fuck it, let's go. Entourage ticket purchased like that. We were there. And I didn't look anything up. I saw the trailer like 4 times.
Yeah.
You know the story. Bryce Dallas Howard's writing this romantic spy book that apparently is also happening in real life. And Sam Rockwell is like the real version to the Henry Cavill book version. And John Cena's in the book version. And Dua Lipa looks amazing in that dress in the trailer. And
for anyone who's my age, it's basically a twist on Romancing the Stone.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
And
Good movie.
I didn't look up the director because I didn't think I would see the movie. No disrespect to it. And minutes in, I was like, that feels like Kingsman. And so it's like, yeah, so Matthew Vaughn for sure. You could definitely tell it has the $200 million budget. I'll say this. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum with this movie. Let's put it that way.
I don't know whether to buzz that or not.
That sounded hot. Yeah.
You get what you
Titillated.
get. The trailer is kind of like the opening of this movie. You know, you have the book world and you have the real world, and there's a lot of twists. There's so many twists. So if that's what you want, it's fun. You can see all of the money in the action. You could see the $200 million budget. Sam Rockwell, for instance, is like having so much fun. There's a cat that's really funny in it. You know, Henry Cavill's doing his best as the Agent Argyle in the book. So you know what? Maybe you'll love the movie. Some people in my theater really love the movie. I think some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in a movie was in this fucking movie. But at the same time, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. They know this. For instance, and I'm only going to give one little thing away. It's not a spoiler. Oil spills on the floor. So they don't want to fire guns because they don't want to spark the oil. So what does she do? She puts knives on her shoes and ice skates through the room temperature oil on hardwood floor while killing people. Now, I don't know how knives on shoes turns into skates, and I don't know how you can skate on oil as if it's ice when it's room temperature and liquid, but they decided to do that in this movie. Pretty fucking stupid, and they did it, and it was fun, and some people laughed. And, you know, so if that's your kind of thing, I will say I fell asleep for 5 minutes, and I don't feel bad about it. I woke up, I probably missed a twist, but it doesn't matter because the twists come so much there's so many twists that by the time you get used to a twist, it twists back on itself or twists in a different direction. They got a little twist happy that I was kind of like, all right. I didn't even sit there and go, oh, look at that twist. Because I was like, okay, but what's the next twist going to be? So, they probably overplayed their hand. They probably didn't ground the reality enough so that you had the two different things that would merge at a certain point. It obviously bombed. So, it didn't get the best reviews and everything. But I think some people at home are going to really love it. They're going to walk their dog and then come back and keep watching. And it's going to be fun when it's on Apple TV+. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And the cast
seems like
great.
one of those movies from a distance. I really had no desire to go see it.
The budget's great, though. It's got a great budget.
It's interesting you say that, too, because
Kingsman is a good one.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what it's almost like this one is so broadly. This one is so. It seems like it's intentionally so comedically broad that his flavor of comedy doesn't really get to shine within like a spy thriller because it's a comedy that's wrapped in a spy thriller. Whereas Kingsman, I think a different director wouldn't have made it so funny. It's because he made it. So I don't know. This one always just seemed like.
I thought Sam Rockwell was funny, but I think like the books, they have the gag where she's writing while the character's speaking in real time. Like obviously they're going to do that gag, and it wasn't that funny. It wasn't like Austin Powers funny. It wasn't like it was middle-aged man funny. I guess I don't know. I didn't laugh that much, but I know what they were trying to do, so that levity was fun while people are murdering each other. But this
is one though and I'm not shedding on it either. I haven't seen it, but it is one just from the jump, first trailer. I remember having that feeling where I was like, I'm a little surprised this movie got made. It just seems like, who is this going to like be the exact perfect movie for? It didn't really feel like it had like the ingredients for it to be like a gigantic $200 million blockbuster kind of thing. Anyway.
Couples, watch it with your significant other, and there you go. Anyway, some people really love it. You're not going to love all of it, so hopefully you can joke about the weird stuff and just like have a laugh and watch some good stupid $200 million blow 'em up shit. I saw Poor Things, but I won't hog the spotlight here. John, take it away.
I'm curious to hear what you think about Poor Things. I'm just going to be totally honest and say, because I think, Dave, you kind of touched on this, and I think most people are having a more similar reaction to what you said. For me, I was very aware. I'm not a big Lanthimos fan. I don't respond to his stuff in the way that I think a lot of people do, but I respect him a lot. I think this is probably, for a lot of people, I think I would understand why people are saying masterpiece. I felt like I watched an achievement in cinema, and it just didn't speak to me. I just didn't feel an emotional reaction to the piece ever at all. I really enjoyed obviously the design is fucking unbelievable. All the design filmmaking elements were at the top peak powers. It was really impressive. I just didn't feel anything. I didn't need to keep seeing what happened next. And that's probably where I'll stop. And I thought the acting was great all the way around. I thought everybody did a really wonderful job. I wasn't expecting Mark Ruffalo to have so much fun, so I enjoyed watching him. You've now been thrice fucked outside.
Yeah, you've now been thrice fucked by the best.
Thrice fucked by the best. It was really good. And they were all great, of course. I just wanted to care a little bit more, and I know that's just not his thing. He likes keeping space between the audience and his characters. He doesn't want you to have a very emotional experience. And the older I get, the more I make these things and the more movies I see, the more I realize that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah,
I cared about feel attached.
I cared about Olivia Colman in The Favorite. The Lobster, maybe it's Colin, but I cared about her. Dave, since this is our first ever like double mini review and it's Poor Things, can you remind me, you said something like at the end it was all worth it or something, like I forget exactly what.
Yeah, it grew on you, right, Dave? Like kind of throughout your view?
I mean, it had me from the trailer with the production design and stuff, and but there is I found the story a little more compelling, I think, than you did, just in the journey of growth that she has, and the fact that growth is reflected in everything down to the lens choices.
Yeah,
for the film, like it was, they thought about this on every level, and that spoke to me.
True. I'm somewhere between you two, I think, because it took there was a while where I was like, I have to start caring at a certain point here, because it was so bizarre that I was kind of like, I really wanted to sink my teeth into her storyline, but it was so strange that it was hard to. And obviously Willem Dafoe's character is sort of that narrator at the beginning, and I was like, I don't need to know what he wants, but I need to find my thing that I'm going to latch on to. And I do think I kind of got there with her. And at the same time, I kind of wish I stayed a little closer to Willem Dafoe, if that makes sense. Watching her, like, let her be the star, but like that disconnect, I feel like I lost my footing a little bit with it. But really, the performances are so great that I went with it. But yeah, I think I'm somewhere between you two on that.
Nice, definitely worth seeing. Definitely worth seeing in the theater if you can, folks. That is a pretty unique visual experience. Probably haven't seen a movie like that ever or in a long time. If you don't see movies often in the theater, go check this one out for sure.
All right, one more to go before 2013. So, Angela and I have been so excited to see Ferrari. Angela's family. I'm not. She's not here to speak for herself, but I'll just say her family's from Ferrari. They're from Monza. They're from Modena, Cologne, Milan.
Cool.
Like they're from north central Italy. They had balsamic vinegar. Like the Ferrari factory is like less than an hour from some cousins that she has right now. Like. We've been her father spoke Italian at home. She understands Italian. I studied Italian. I took 2 semesters in college. Did not get good grades. It wasn't my fault.
No idea what's going on.
I did not know you took.
I took 2 years of Italian.
I didn't know you took 2 semesters.
I took 2 semesters of Italian. Both teachers. Yeah, one teacher was from Sicily. She tried to do the thing where she just spoke fluent Italian in the room, but we didn't know anything. So she was like, "You'll pick it up." And I was like, "We're here twice a week. This isn't like our grandma who lives with us. This is like 8 a.m. twice." Like, it was tough. But an opera, I like opera. So anyway, then Lewis Hamilton news comes and Ferrari, and everybody's excited. And so we were like, tonight's the night we're watching Ferrari. Michael Mann's Ferrari, Adam Driver, Shailene Woodley, Penelope Cruz is nominated for a SAG award. We were ready to watch Ferrari.
Yeah.
On Netflix with ads.
No.
Yeah, where'd you watch it?
We had a
theater.
No, we watched it at home.
A screener. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think everybody involved in making this movie should be fucking ashamed of themselves.
Whoa.
I have truly and honestly...
I wasn't expecting that. I had to reach for the button.
I don't think I said it.
Yeah.
Everyone should be ashamed of themselves, singular. I haven't been this angry at a movie in years. This was...
Damn, dude.
I don't want to come on this positive film podcast and shit on a movie, but...
No, let it rip. I want to hear it because nobody has said great things, so I want to hear your opinion on why.
There's this thing in the NFL called Black Monday, where the Monday after the regular season, after the last regular season day, everybody who didn't make the playoffs has to go clean their locker out. And a lot of people have meetings with the executives, and some people go into those meetings and you have no idea if you'll have a job at the end of that meeting. Every single person in this movie needs to have a Black Monday meeting. I want them to point fingers. I want them to blame. I want to know what happened. The first place to start, these accents are a fucking travesty. And they're such a travesty that I actually looked up the word travesty. Here you go, you ready?
Actually,
a false, absurd, and distorted representation of something. This is the least Italian movie I've seen in fucking years. Call Me By Your Name is a more Italian movie than this, and every character is American in it. I mean,
yeah, it's an expert.
It was, these accents were just, I actually can't believe the Ferrari family allowed this to print. I can't believe they let this print. You know, Adam Driver, this is his second time playing in Italian. And you could see it. You could see it in his eyes. You could feel it that he wants what this character wants.
Are we talking Russell Crowe Zeus bad or like?
I mean, honestly, it was, I had to get up and walk around at certain points, but yes, it's his second time. Yeah, Angela was like, "Is everything okay?" Angela said, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "I actually said they shouldn't be allowed to work again. They shouldn't be allowed to work again until we figure out what happened. Where was the accent coach? We played a game. I'm not kidding. So she speaks conversational Italian. I studied Italian in college. We played a game where when a new character came on the screen, we had to guess if they were supposed to be Italian or not because we couldn't know. Guys, this accent is so bad. If you don't know how someone communicates, you can't possibly be this character. And this is a mythic, like an epic figure of Italian lore. And there was nothing Italian. It sounded like I don't even know, harsh, rugged, like terrible, like no whimsical anything. It was rat shit horribly bad, this movie. I mean, Michael Mann, it was stale, it was boring. I don't know what the point was. Was it greed? Was it ambition? Was it business? Was it the marriage between his wife? I have no idea what it's about. It was just stale. It was we have to stop making movies in other countries. I feel like they ruined it for everybody now. All Quiet on the Western Front, Squid Game, just give it to the Italians and let them make their own movie, because this was so inauthentic. It was terrible. And everybody's been doing this. If you do watch this movie after me saying this, everybody has the same reaction when Shailene Woodley starts talking. You're gonna say, is she supposed to be Italian? There's no way. There's no possible way that she's supposed to be Italian in this movie. There's no way.
It is insane that he felt the need to cast two white stars. I haven't heard Penelope's accent. I haven't seen it. But
she was good. It sounds Spanish. It sounds Spanish.
Yeah, it sounds Spanish. So, but I just don't understand why he went with the other two. Now, would you also agree with like every review that I've read about this movie has said the only cool thing about this movie that is really, really impressive are the car scenes and the wreck and the races.
There's like 15 minutes of car scenes. So yeah, those were good. So, they did a knockoff of The Godfather where everybody in the church was like timing because they could hear the engines, and you would think that would be cool, but everything was so stale up till that point that it wasn't like there was no style, there was no excitement to get into it. It was just kind of like, here we are, and then this thing is coming, and then they're in the church, and then they're looking at their stopwatches. So I guess that was cool. That like the Godfather killing sequence.
They can hear the engines. Have you ever been to a Formula One?
No, I know they could hear the engines, but it wasn't
you can hear the engines 20 miles away.
Yeah. But then the sequence at the end was awesome. The actual race, and it was terrifying because bad things happened. But like, yeah, that stuff is cool. You know, you had to get through an hour and 40 minutes of are they trying to be Italian or not to get there. It was a bummer.
It's too bad, man. That's really too bad.
It's really too bad. Is right. I sent my friend a message.
Another big budget.
I sent my friend a message. And it was Adam Driver. And again, I love Adam Driver as an actor. It was a scene of him, and then it was an interview of Enzo Ferrari. And he just said, "Why the fuck did you send me this? I was having a good day."
Wow. Yeah.
Because it made him mad just reliving that movie again.
Now, I'm a big fan of Adam Driver as well, but you and I have had this conversation many times, and I think it started with how I felt about him in the Star Wars movies. I know he's Juilliard trained, and I don't think you have to do accents and play people really far away from your type to be a great actor. And I feel like every time he gets cast outside of a contemporary American male, I'm frustrated. There's something that doesn't quite work for me with him doing that. Is this another one of those cases where there's just something about him that doesn't translate as well into those kinds of international roles or a totally different financial class?
He knew what Enzo Ferrari probably felt. Having a secret wife or having a secret lover, having this wife who is a business partner, and Ford wants to buy him out, and Fiat and whoever else wants to buy him out, and having all the pressure. He understood that. But if you don't understand how someone communicates, do you really know who they are? You know, if you really don't understand why.
Richard Gang would say, no, you do not. You absolutely do not.
And to me, this is one thing that makes Italians, especially Enzo Ferrari, so amazing, is that even though he is this brute, you hear him talk and he still has that. So to be a brute, but to have that texture in your voice, I mean, can you imagine what that could have done to this performance? But instead it was, how could you talk to me like that? This is my wife. You do not know this thing. Like, it was so not musical. Yeah. It was so harsh and just not realistic. It wasn't honoring that world. He wasn't in the world. Sorry, Dave.
Well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks. Yeah, that is not worth the time, I guess. All right, let's move on.
It is time to move on.
Yeah, you could have played that a couple minutes ago, for sure.
It needed to be said. I almost watched it, so I'm glad you set us straight.
Can you please just skip it? Just watch. Please watch it.
You want me to watch it?
Yes.
So Misery Loves Company.
Okay. I will.
All right, people, we're going to talk about Prisoners in 1 second here. But 2013, we got some world events. We got some shit going on in the film world. I'm going to keep it tight because I just chatted for a bit. So if you want to hear more, we talked about 2013 in our summer blockbuster face-off.
And another time.
And we also did another 3-movie segment with this, where we talked about, what did we talk about?
Wolf of Wall Street. Her, I believe. And then we also did
Odd Thomas.
Odd Thomas, yeah, that was was it really that bad? We were doing that segment.
No, it's okay. Anton Yelchin.
I love that movie.
Yelchin. Dave loves it. I'm buzzing it away.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anton Yelchin. So, Do you remember? We talked about Iron Man 3 in our summer blockbuster face-off, but Iron Man 3 was not the highest grossing movie of 2013. Do you remember what was the highest grossing movie of 2013?
Let it go.
Yeah, Frozen.
Yeah. It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be Frozen.
You gotta listen to
vague memory of having watched that.
When Mark Monstrowski took my place and the three of you praised Frozen while saying fuck as many times as you possibly could talking about a Disney movie.
That also held the record for the most buzzed episode for quite some time until Mark came on the show again.
Mark broke it. So Frozen would go on to make
and then a third time.
Frozen would go on to make, give or take, $1.28 billion. Woo! It was the highest grossing female directed movie. Frozen 2 would gross more than that. But yes, and then Iron Man 3 also made more than $1 billion at 1.21. Despicable Me 2 came in at 9.75. The Hobbit Desolation of Smaug came in at 9.59. Surprisingly or not, almost all of that movie was abroad. The Hunger Games Catching Fire comes in at number 5. And to round out the top 10, Fast and Furious 6, Monsters University, Gravity, Man of Steel, Thor, The Dark World. So Frozen had the Mouse House behind it, but otherwise Gravity seems to be the only original IP to crack the top 10 in here. I should also say The Croods and World War Z, because I love World War Z, come in out there. And the Oz the Great and Powerful, I feel like is a movie that has just been forgotten by everybody, but that made $490 million.
I watched it. I didn't mind it.
I think one of my favorite movies this year was James Mangold's The Wolverine. That came out early in the year, and I think I saw it with at least one, if not both of you.
Wait,
Old Wolverine, where they thought he was gonna die.
The Wolverine is that the second one?
That's not James Mangold.
You're talking about Logan?
No, yeah, fuck. You just buzzed me.
No,
man.
you're talking about Wolverine with the samurai story.
The samurai story. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the Wolverine.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
That's a cool one too. That's cool.
Pacific Rim, Guillermo del Toro. Oscars were all 12 Years a Slave versus Gravity, and yeah.
What Renaissance, because he won this year, didn't he? For
McConaughey and Jared Leto both won for Dallas Buyers Club. Cate Blanchett won Oscar number 2 for Blue Jasmine.
Wow.
A bunch of David O. Russell films, we're going crazy. So American Hustle was this year, but nobody won for that. Anything else stand out for you guys?
Nope.
I mean, Wolf of Wall Street's on my face. We talked about that in Her. Absolutely fucking love those movies. Blue is the warmest color. Probably give the shout out to that. That did really well. It kind of had a crossover into the American market. The Conjuring. We have done a few, I think, Conjurings, at least 1 or 2 at this point. I know we did 3 or 4. Conjuring, the first one came out this year. Fucking, that's a great one.
I think I sacked up and did 2 of them.
Yeah. White House Down is a part of the Down trilogy.
Yes.
And I think has done one of those at least once or twice now at this point.
Dude, I remember the first Conjuring because nothing happened for so long. And I think that was what ruined me for other Conjuring movies because like they're in the house and nothing's happening, but they're building tension like something's going to happen. And then finally something happens like that chick on top of the wardrobe. And I'm sitting there at like 8 p.m. watching. I'm like, fuck that. Daylight's, I'm turning this off till daytime. And I literally stopped the movie and waited till the next day to finish watching it.
Pretty scary, dude.
I can't remember how it ends.
The Purge came out. The first Purge came out this year.
I didn't mind that.
Wow. God, they really banged those out, didn't they? I thought they came up
what, 6 movies in a TV series?
Unbelievable.
Like that. Lupita
This is
Nyong'o
also
won an Oscar.
the year of Oblivion, which is the first time Tom Cruise and Joseph Kosinski teamed up. So that gave us Maverick eventually. That's pretty good pairing. That's good. That's
also, I should say Chivo, Emmanuel Lubezki, won his 3rd Oscar. Wait, he's first of 3 Oscars in a row. So Gravity, he would go on to go for Birdman and The Revenant, 3 in a row for cinematography. Crazy. And Gravity took 4 years to do. Revenant, you had to go all over the world to film. So the fact that he was able to do these that's insane. What a run.
Did you mention This Is the End in your initial
No,
list?
I did not.
I like that movie a lot.
Also, Fruitvale Station will be one that history will remember thanks to Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan working together.
Oh, God, Fruitvale. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. On to Prisoners. Denis Villeneuve, incredible cast. Hugh Jackman, Academy Award winner Melissa Leo comes in there. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a cop. He loves playing these kinds of roles. Maria Bello comes in as Hugh Jackman's wife, and in a role that just I love seeing Viola Davis, and it's fun to go back in time seeing Viola Davis, and it's like she outgrew these roles. Like it took a while for her to I don't know what took so long for her, but at the same time, it's like thank God, because it's But yeah,
Yes,
her and
just a
Terrence
member
Howard.
of the cast.
Even
Just
then, she was still just a little bit standout though. Like
projectile tears, gentlemen.
I mean,
Which,
oh my
those
god,
things are-
so good. It's oh my
So
god,
good.
so good. And then of course Paul Dano, who I think in 2013, I feel like he was still finding his own after There Will Be Blood. Was like the greatest movie with the greatest performance ever. And Paul Dano, nobody praised that performance, even though he was great. It was such a interesting thing. And so like I feel like Paul Dano for a while was finding his way, and this character, I mean, it just
I really
shows you
should
how
watch that one day.
Him, whoever. I've gotten to meet him before, and he's so fuck you, Dave. And he's such a nice guy.
Oh yeah.
Whoever his reps are, they all seem to be on the same page that, of course, he's not a leading man in the sense of the tall, dark, and handsome movie star or whatever. And they have just made the most of that. He has had so many wonderful supporting roles, from creepy to sweet. I thought he was fucking incredible. And Spielberg's movie, where he played his dad. Fuck was that called?
The Fablemans. Yeah, he was great as
Fablemans. Yeah. I mean, he really has just run the gamut. And to see him,
that is probably the
courage it
straightest
took to
role he's
take
ever
on-
played too.
yeah, for sure. This one, that one, or the straight as in just like not creepy, like not too affected.
Yes.
Yeah. For the courage it takes to take on a role like this, I mean,
oh my god, yeah.
it's a risk, dude. Like so easy to hate, easy to judge, easy to feel a lot of things about.
And he's coming right after. So Zoe Kazan is I think they're still right. They're still partners, life partners. So he did that Ruby Sparks the year before, but Being Flynn with De Niro, and then Looper. I mean, he did that like weird, like where he like put on muscle and was like all of a sudden a brute in Looper, and then this, which also came out the same year as 12 Years a Slave, in which he plays a racist, like a wrangler. Like you are obviously not trying to get the leading man roles with that docket.
Yeah.
But working with the best. But yeah, I'm with you. Love and Mercy would come out the next year, so didn't stop. But anyway, enough about Paul. But great job in Hit there.
I mean, he is one of the best character actors I've seen come out. Like he might be the next generation of like really good character actors.
He's fantastic. I know you loved him a lot in the Batman too.
Oh yes, I did.
Will we see him again in that universe? Maybe. They didn't kill him in that, right?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I think we'll see him again in that universe.
All right. So here's the setup. I'm going to read the description and then we can go around, because I'm assuming we all did this rewatch, right? We'd all seen this before, of course. And we should also say, if we had a Mount Rushmore, meaning a top 4 of people on this podcast that we worship the ground that they walk on, Daniel Day-Lewis probably looms. He's probably like above it. He's probably like the angel who kind of haunts everybody. But then
it's like Buddha.
Mark Rylance is probably on there somewhere.
Yes, he is.
Probably securely, like in that center spot, one of those 2 center spots, is Roger Deakins, who was the cinematographer on our first ever podcast where he talks about 1917. The Australian himself, Dave's boy, Roger Deakins, who shot this movie.
He was gold for the old segment. How the fuck did they do that we used to do? Because the dude is constantly inventing shit.
We'll talk about him later. I want to do the setup, but I love in the Deakins podcast, which John got us all to listen to, where they'll ask him, they'll be like, I was trying to figure out how to do this shot. And then I remember, Roger, you did a shot like this in this movie. So I tried to figure out how you did that. And then I did it. And it's just really cool when people say that to him. And he's proud of that. He's like, thank you for stealing my shot. I really appreciate that. That's really sweet of you. That's kind. Thank you. It's like, what a sweet person. And of course that he works with his wife, James. Yes, his wife, James. It's amazing. Okay, here is the send-off. When Keller Dover's daughter, why do they even do that? When Hugh Jackman's daughter...
No names. It's a rule. We're not supposed to write names in log lines. You write
Come
character,
on, when
not
Keller
rule,
Dover...
not
Yeah.
names.
Anyway, when Hugh Jackman's daughter and her friend go missing, he takes matters into his own hands as the police pursue multiple leads and the pressure mounts.
Now, I would say, because I forgot, I saw this so long ago, because I saw it when it came out in 2013, and I forgot how this ended. So I want to not spoil the ending.
Did you forget? Because I forgot and then I remembered. You know what I mean?
No, I forgot. Like, there was like, I remembered the very, very end, but I forgot the resolve of like where it all ends up.
I think we can say it, man. I think we can say it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll turn spoilers on later, but for now, let's not mention that bit.
What'd you think? What'd you feel?
Sure. Yeah, Dave, go for it. You started talking.
Well, okay. Jeez. For the first time I saw this, it was the first film I'd ever seen at Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, cool.
So
Wow.
I think I walked out going, that was intense and great. But that was about it. I left it at that. And I feel like I was a little bit distracted overstimulated by the whole environment and stuff. Because on this
Fucking
rewatch,
people ordering the dinner next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on this rewatch, fucking brilliant. Like I'm sitting
dude.
there, I'm sitting there salivating over some of these shots and the lighting setups and stuff. I took a break and started looking up because Roger will actually publish maps of how he lit stuff and stuff like that. So
cool.
I started going into all the technicalities of it, like the rest stop scene where the camper van is, how they lit that and what they had to do to that, and the fact that the location was so fucking hard to find because nothing fit. And it was an interesting thing to hear him talk, to read him talking about the fact that when they were setting up for that shot, they had to find a location that was close enough so they could do something else because it was a quick shot that they could do in like a night. So they had to have something nearby so they could utilize their time properly. So they had to find something else to shoot in the general area after before they'd done this shot.
Yeah. I think that
it was quite fun to get a little insight into that logistics. But I enjoyed this thoroughly, and my wife hadn't seen it, and she sat down next to me, and she took the ride, man. It was so much fun watching her take the ride of watching this movie because it's intense. It's like at points frustrating. It's just a all round like your jaw will drop at least once during this movie.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, dude. I too, I think, have actually only seen this once. And some reason, why, I don't think I saw it in 2013 because I know I watched this when I was watching all that film period in like 2015, 16, 17 when I was still living with you guys. And I was just watching everything. I think I watched everything Denis made then. And I remember being like, how did I miss this? So this is probably my second time watching it. And it's one of those movies that it does get talked about a lot on the Deakins podcast. People like talking to him about it, and he refers to it a lot. So it's kind of stayed in my mind. So it wasn't like I forgot anything major, but I think it's just like the period of movie making that we're in right now. And this was kind of a rare bird when it came out too, but we just don't have a lot of feature films that are this pedestrian. Like a lot of the set pieces are just suburban America. I think it was shot in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Yeah.
It looks like where I grew up. Like it's just it's anywhere. And there are some stars in it, but they're not the biggest A-list stars in the world.
It's an ensemble too.
And at this time, Denis Villeneuve was not a monster director yet. So it was just one of those movies that they used to make tons of these kinds of movies in the pre-superhero phase, pre-franchise phase. And I think that's why it's so special still, that it's just so refreshing to see a lot of really amazing feature film level talent. And I'm not discouraging anybody who's not that. I'm not saying to qualify it, but they are. Some of the greatest directors, cinematographers, and really great actors coming together with a good script. This is what can happen. And it just kind of made me feel like, real life is enough. I saw this last night after seeing Poor Things during the day. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me when I was watching Poor Things that was like, I'm kind of excited to just experience reality tonight when I sit down for Prisoners because there's just so much beautiful.
Yeah, those two movies are
totally different, right?
Yeah.
Neither of which are going to make you horny. That's for sure. It's like
sure. Not that kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
I don't know,
but
not that kind
Roger has said. Jesus Christ, David.
What?
Did you see the snakes?
The character's name's Alex Jones, and he spends most of the time getting the shit beat out of him.
I wrote that. He did that. He did that on purpose. I don't care if this is a book or not. He's sitting there. He's like, I'm making Alex Jones this guy. Like, come on.
Who knows, dude? I think I'm going to quote Roger Deakins here, just because he's so right, and I'm not just kissing Denis Villeneuve's ass, but this kind of story at its heart and center is a crime mystery. and that's it. Like we've seen millions of those. They're on procedural television. There's plenty of feature films that have them.
Tons.
So what makes this so unique, and what Deakins always says for why they say yes to projects are usually directors and their vision. And I think he was so impressed with Incendie, the first one that really broke through. He had made two other features before, Denis Villeneuve, but they just wanted to work with the guy who made that movie. And the tension that he and Roger create is just, it's so masterful that most people would look at a movie that's set in the suburbs and say it's not cinematic. But it is one of the more cinematic dramas.
Have you heard how this came about, actually? Because the first time he met Roger was at the Academy Awards. And they introduced each other.
One of the 14 times Deakins was nominated before he won.
Yeah. And he's like, I'd really like the chance to work with you at some point. And straight after that, he handed him the script for Prisoners.
I mean,
like it just happened to be serendipitous.
This is a really, really special one, you guys. I also heard on the Deakins podcast, and I'm not speaking out of school or anything. The guy was on the podcast talking about it, but one of the producers for Prisoners and Sicario, and he's produced with some other really big names who are now like Chris Nolan. He produced Memento with him, and this guy tends to work at that kind of level. He doesn't make the gigantic franchise movies, this producer. And he was talking about how Roger was asking him, would you want to work with Denis again? And he said, no. And he was like, oh, wow, why? And he was like, well, him and Chris, and he listed somebody else. He was like, they don't need you and me anymore. Like we caught them at a time when we made a movie together.
Wow.
This Prisoners and Sicario are a collaboration. And I love Denis Villeneuve, but I knew what he meant. Nobody tells Chris Nolan and Denis Villeneuve what to do anymore. They get whatever they want in every gigantic feature they make. And that is something, I was very mindful of that watching it this time, that like,
apparently so does Vaughn.
This was a guy who was up and coming with one of the greatest cinematographers in the world, with hungry and happy producers who were excited to work on, edgy material with a great cast of actors who had never worked with them before. It took everybody to make this, and I think that's why it's so special. Anyway, Jeff, what do you think, dude?
I remember the first time I watched this movie. I watched it with Eddie and Aaron, and I can't remember if it was still with still Chris at the time, but I remember them saying like we should watch this movie. I think they said the director, it's Hugh Jackman, he's doing this kind of role, and it was like, and just so you know, Paul Dano, it's like this is kind of what it's about, Jake. And it was just so heavy, and it's hard to watch with a group. So like, we rented it too. It was definitely at home. It was not in the theater, I'm sorry to say. And it's not that I was like afraid to go back there, but it was just one of those where I knew that it was a big, heavy thing, and yeah, there's a million things like True Detective that are out there now and have been there before. And, these things that whether or not the pieces of the puzzle pieces come and fit together is obviously going to be something, but the characters, why Hugh, but I remember what I remembered about this movie. I remembered the imprisonment that Hugh does. I remember, I didn't remember the ending until I started watching it. And then I was like, oh my God, right. That's what happens, which was not like bummer. Like, oh, I already know. It was kind of like, how do they get there? That was interesting.
That fucking car.
Yeah.
Every shot of that house, that car is in the foreground.
Well, and then even more things like the medallion.
Like everything that comes up was telegraphed earlier in the film.
The whistle, the sock, like the little things, like the Tom, the peeping Tom, the guy from The Dark Knight Rises. That's like the crazy guy, or the guy from The Dark Knight, not The Dark Knight Rises, that they kidnap and he can't speak because he's that poor guy. What role he gets cast in?
Is David
Yes, he was on the Deakins podcast.
Yeah, he was also
that was a great episode.
Also in Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad.
Right.
Yeah. He's a fantastic character actor as well.
I think obviously the direction's great. The performances really are great. This really is Hugh being great, and this isn't Hugh like going for an Oscar. It's not one of those. So even I feel like what probably held him back in that awards stuff. Not that it's about awards. It's just that because we've seen so many movies of this kind of thing, because it's not that niche. It's not like that specific one and only. Like I can't imagine anybody else doing this. But I mean, this is Hugh, unlike like you'll never see him. But yeah. I think two things.
I wasn't
really
kidding when I said it was one of his most unlikable characters. It's brilliant, but you kind of don't like the guy.
I think the two things that really stand out, and I guess I wouldn't notice this on the first watch. But it's outside. We've seen so many movies. Killing of Sacred Deer comes to mind, where or even any like of those Jennifer Lawrence indies where the camera's moving, you're outside, the lighting, lens flares, like it's hard to make it look I don't want to say beautiful because obviously the color palette and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Most of it's like outside. Most of it's in these shitty places. And it's the characters pop without needing help in a weird way that it's like, it really is, the cinematography really is brilliant. What it took to do Gravity, Chivo deserved an Oscar for sure. But you know what else deserves an Oscar maybe? Is doing the same fucking movie that everybody does and making it look better than everybody else's. This just looks better than everybody else's without compromising the fact that it feels shitty and bleak and dry and dull and the colors are boring and everybody's poor and everybody's houses is crumbling and they can't pay for fertilizer on their lawn. How do you make that look in such a way that I'm not thinking about that, but I know I'm watching some compelling film. It's brilliant, and also the score,
so much
guys.
fun too, because he used a lot of practicals. We'll get back to the score in a second.
Sure.
He used a lot of practicals in that, but there's also like the big HMI sitting just out, like out of range.
Yeah,
some of them are literally just to backlight the rain because the rain machine they had was huge. It had to have cranes wheeled in and all sorts of shit.
A lot of rain in this that was effectively used.
Yeah.
Jeff, I love before we go to score. I love how you just said. That might be the Deaconess quality. You may have just finally articulated. What did you say? The characters don't need any help. The way that the way he captures them, that they're just pop, like they're just there. And there's like a naturalism to the way they're presented. It doesn't feel overly expressive with the cinematography. It's just enough to make you feel like that is probably what it would feel like if only those gas station tops fluorescents were lit and we were 100 feet away from them and Jake was walking toward us. That is probably what it would look like. It's just, it's in the perfect fucking position so that it's a little freakier.
Yeah.
You know, I think if it had been like 10 yards to the right,
I think the reason
it would
it
have been
comes
less
out like
interesting.
that is because he, like every time, like every lighting setup is different. He creates what he needs for the look. And it's like a cinematographer's job to decide how to capture what the film should look like. And he does this every single time to the project. Like it's not like, oh, I did this, so I'll just set up this setup again. It's everything is original. It's the tone is for the individual project. So in this case, it was a lot of like natural light practicals and you know that sort of stuff. And I think when he's making these decisions, he's not thinking about awards and nominations and shit like that.
Course,
he's thinking about 100% about what's best for the project.
Well, I feel like he's a submissive. Obviously, he's like important. Obviously, he knows his value and everything, but he really does want to service the story and the director so much that how could you even think about awards when you have such a task ahead of you? It's like that kind of thing. You know, he'll go to an award show for a movie that's so far in his rearview mirror because he's so obsessed with these things. But honestly, how does the director? I'll just try to choose some like similar ones. Fargo, to Oh Country, right? Or sorry, No Country for Old Men. Both like bleak, dark movies in the middle of nowhere. To this, they all look a little different. You're not surprised that it's the same cinematographer, but how? How does he do that? How is this different from Fargo? Like, how does he make this look so specific? It's brilliant. And but I do think one thing, and the touch is perfect, and I only noticed it because of a rewatch, is John's boy Johan Johansson. I mean, this score, he could do a flashy. He could do a flashy score, right? Didn't he do the Theory of Everything? Like he could do that beautiful. And there were some of those moments in here, but this. It's the most beautiful score that you wouldn't think about in this kind of movie.
I can't remember what it was. I didn't notice
exactly,
it at all.
Exactly,
This
and it was
score has
fucking gorgeous.
Did you notice too, Jeff, how long they wait to introduce it this time? The whole opening sequence goes by.
It felt
until
different.
The kids get taken.
Yeah.
This
so they
score
become
has
prisoners.
It has the same quality of mourning that Howard Shore scored to Silence of the Lambs had. Like that Silence of the Lambs Howard Shore score. Like this has that lamenting, like there is something, the orchestration is just absolutely gorgeous. R.I.P. Johan Johansson.
R.I.P.
Guys, we haven't even really said his name and talked about him too much, but if the cop wasn't interesting enough, you know, we've had this conversation a few times, where what makes a crime drama more than just the mystery of the solving the crime? It's acting. It's characters. Some of that comes from script, of course. Some of that comes from direction. A lot of it comes from the actor. And I was so impressed with Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know if you liked him a lot on this rewatch.
I said Zodiac is my favorite Jake. This is my favorite Jake, and you know what I love too? They didn't tell us too much about him. I didn't need to know anything else about him.
It's all acting, dude.
It's this moment. He solves his crimes. He's figuring this out. He's single. That's all I need to know.
I remember on his Deakins podcast interview, he was talking to them about when he was younger, he used to kind of not either. I'm not going to try to quote him because I don't remember exactly, but it was basically a range of indifference to what the camera was doing or ignorance, basically. And he was talking about as he's gotten older, and especially in working with them, it's not just because they're them, all the things we were just saying about how brilliant the cinematography is, but it's the style that they were bringing to this particular picture. He was telling Roger something along the lines of, it really does help to know what you guys are doing to help me make your job and my job as efficient and as expressive as possible. To know like why you're shooting me. When I come over and bang that keyboard on the ground and I put my head down, what is that angle doing for me? You know, why the shitty actor might try to cheat up so you can kind of see the eyes or something, or look up or something. And, you know, why is the camera there? And what does that actually do for me to hide from them and to just like, you know, just like cower? And I just thought everything he did, and obviously I haven't read the script, so I don't want to say that this wasn't in the characterization on the page, but he brings a tick to the role. Which
apparently also the tattoos were all his idea.
That's great, man. That's great. All the characterization, it never went too far for me. Even in a small town, you would think like, what's this guy? Why is he here? Well, what is in the script and why Jake Gyllenhaal, I think, did a brilliant job, tension between him and his captain. That was just enough of a justification for me to think
me too.
He either was just, you know, he was never supposed to be here and he's just pushing against the grain of where he's from, or he got transferred here and he just doesn't like the captain and he's not really from these parts, but he's a great detective. Which, you know, both of those elements exist in tons and tons of crime mystery and crime drama. But I just thought everything fucking clicked and everybody seemed to know that it's nobody's movie.
Yeah.
It's nobody's movie. It's our movie. And we all just need to show up and work with each other moment to moment. And that because of that, seamlessly, I'll just pick one moment. When Jake goes to his car right after his first interview with Hugh Jackman and, God damn it, you guys, what's your name? Oh, Maria Bello. And he's in his car and out comes Hugh. Hey! And he's like, God damn it. Or, son of a bitch. And you immediately go from, you're inside the car, we're with probably... maybe I'm speaking for you guys, but I felt like I was with Jake Gyllenhaal's perspective. And then within that same fucking framing, just from the storytelling, I felt Hugh Jackman's perspective when he was talking to him about the point he was making then about you're not going to let him out, are you?
Right.
You're not going to fucking let him out. And just the way this movie pushes and pulls between perspective, it doesn't feel like you're lost in an objective, you know, eye. It feels emotional. You start to feel for all of them somehow, which I think is really difficult to do when it's not a totally subjective single protagonist journey. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I had this time. I was like, how do I care about everybody so much? Yeah. It's staggering how they pulled that off.
Dave, you took
what do you guys think?
Sorry, John, you asked a question.
No, I was just going to say, what did you think of how they framed, how they made you feel about Paul Dano this time? Maybe like, did you feel the same way the first time you watched it?
No.
Because he might be the only one who they do a good job of keeping, he's really far away from us, right? We don't really get to know him very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's
except in that one interrogation scene where they're right up on him.
That got you?
And he's like, please don't touch me. And he's like turning towards the camera. That was quite intimate. And like you feel attacked. The shot I do love is that it kind of, I guess it involved him, is when they cut to the kids walking away from the van and it's just cropped in that window. And it's not a Dutch tilt. It's slightly off kilter. So the angles are wrong, but your eye can't quite tell why at first.
Yeah.
And how about the filmmaking in this movie is so simple. In that shot, a single footstep in the sound design that somebody is walking toward the window. It's not two. He's not gluing his face to it. Just a shift in his weight as he watches the children go away.
Yeah.
It's like,
Also love the subtle things like with dirtying the frame up. When they wanted to build tension, they were doing, because this is essentially a thriller movie shot like a horror movie. So they do the push-ins, like the fast push-ins for like to make the location seem ominous. And they're doing these push-ins, but there's a tree in the foreground. And the camera pushes just
tree.
too close to that. Like it's like right in your face, and it's dirtying up the shot, like almost half the shot. And you're like, you start to find yourself involuntarily leaning back because it's like, why the fuck is this tree so close to me?
everybody on Deakins, all the guests bring up that shot at some point to him. He's like, oh yeah, the tree. And he's like, even the producer, when they was telling me, he was like, I almost like asked you, like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are we setting up for a fucking tree shot? And, but everybody talks about you don't even want to try to articulate it, but that ended up saying something.
There's not a human. There's not a human to be
squeezed.
seen. Yeah,
it does.
It's like you're being rushed into this location.
Sicario. Jeff, that shot I love so much in Sicario. I think I pressed pause on it. It was like when you're inside the house and they discover the dead bodies at the beginning, and Roger just fucking pans gently over to the wires in the wall. Boom! And it explodes. Like he just sits and lingers too long on just the fucking electrical wires in the wall.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's just yeah.
I think, Paul, the thing for me that caught this time, and it was, I don't remember if I remembered the ending yet. Let me say that again so it's clear.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I remembered the ending. At some point. I don't know if I remembered the ending when Paul says the line to Hugh Jackman.
I think we can talk about it now. I'll turn the spoiler on.
Turn the spoilers on.
So everyone on YouTube land.
And I'll ease into it to say, I'll put it this way. The first time I watched it, I was like, Hugh's out of his fucking mind. This is crazy. It's insane. I know why he wants to do it, but he takes it too far. It's insane. It's crazy, etc. This time, I was like, he has to do that. Because the line popped and I heard it and it was clear. And if I'm Hugh and I hear that line, that is, if you're playing poker, I'm all in. If somebody sits there and goes, well, fuck, I got nothing. It's like, I'm all in. He literally goes, they only cried when I left them. All in, chips all in. Yeah. I'm in, dealer, I'm in.
Yep.
And it's so
and
subtle.
Then at the end, when the last time Hugh is like desperately just standing next to his box.
Yeah.
God, the sound editing is so brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's in performance, because I really doubt that Paul was on the other side of that wall while they were just shooting Hugh for his
It wouldn't
singles.
surprise me.
Maybe he was, but there is overlapping dialogue.
It's locked him in a box for like 6 days.
Unbelievable. Paul Dano's character says, I only wanted to play with them.
Yeah.
And he says, what did you say? And he's like, what did you say? And he just, you never hear it very clearly again. And then Hugh starts talking about something else and he whispers it one more time. And he's like, tell me what you just said.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And that shot on the eye as well.
Oh.
There.
Yeah, dude.
That was fucking terrifying.
Fucking true black.
Yeah.
Right? Just literally special. I don't want to see the body. I don't want to see an outline of a body. I don't want any highlights behind him or anything. Just give me black.
I'm gonna pee my brains out. I can't wait for you guys to tell me about this. My Ferrari rant got a lot of beer in me, so you guys.
Yes, it did.
I can't wait to listen back to this tomorrow.
We will continue.
That's usually me.
Or we can just pause.
No, it's
you
fine.
Can just fucking
we
edit
just keep
that.
talking.
Right?
It's fine.
Dude, story-wise, we're all getting older. I think one reason this movie did not succeed as well as it maybe could have is because I bet anybody with children can't watch this movie.
Probably
no desire, cannot watch it. It is never going to go close to it.
It's a bit of a tough watch. Like especially since everyone is so convincing.
So convincing. It's terrifying. It's everybody's worst nightmare.
There's like not one standard reaction. Every single one of these characters is reacting differently to having their kids taken.
So I'm curious though, because you said in his least likable role, but for me, especially on the second rewatch, I think Paul is accountable. He took those kids to her. And he knows he did the whole time. He might, despite his mental challenges and however we want to like frame his mental ability and his trauma.
That was Hugh Jackman.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Is that I actually, all Paul had to do was tell the truth.
Yeah.
All he had to do was admit that he brought them over to her. And, you know, I'm not taking anything away from his past trauma. I loved this time putting the dots together of how
she does specifically
Paul Dano
say like he chose to not say things, so he keeps everything inside. He doesn't say much at all.
Yeah, that was such a good line.
Yeah.
He got too specific with his word choice or something like that. That was really great. Dave, help me pick this out because I just want to clarify some story things. We learn from the preacher that the man who came to him, which was Melissa Leo's husband, you find out later, it confessed to killing 16 children.
Yes.
Does that mean that 17 and 18 were not killed because they were Paul Dano and what's his name? David Dalmastian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
It's got to be right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why he was drawing the maze all the time.
And the snakes.
Why were they alive?
The snakes bum me out.
The snakes bummed you out. You didn't like that part?
Why they're always snakes?
Fucking snakes and fucking.
It's funny because my wife picked the like what was like the crime, but the solution to the crime basically at the 90-minute mark, give or take. And then
What'd she say?
She said, "Oh, this person did it," and I'm like, "Okay." And I kind of jogged a memory. I'm like, "Oh shit, she's right." And then that one scene where the stuff gets knocked off the table, after he's smashing the keyboard, and she like the you can see the pendant on the body, and it's just sitting there in the corner. And dude, she was up on her knees on the couch, like banging her fist, like fucking look to your right. She got so worked up. It was hell funny. Yeah.
You guys remember that screenwriting rule that I told you I learned about, like how convenience is okay as long as it makes your character's journey more difficult? It can't be like, oh, good. So, like, what a fucking coincidence and a lovely circumstance that Joy escapes.
Yes.
Right? That the Terrence Howard, Viola Davis's child escaped, and somehow their child did not. But look at the consequences of that.
Yeah. Well, I think back to
we
your
have three
earlier
massive
question.
Failures.
Back to your earlier question.
Say it again?
Back to your earlier question about why those two survived. I think.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, I think at that point they started killing when their son died of cancer.
Right.
And I think they progressed enough
because there's a god
in their psychosis to miss their son and want to replace him.
Yeah, basically, I think they kind of admitted that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A war against God.
So they picked a son who picks up a dog like that when he walks them.
Yeah.
Ooh. Jeff, when you were gone, I was saying that I was pushing back on Dave's that Hugh's the least likable character here because I think Paul is 1,000% accountable. I was just saying because he took the children to her and he knows that they kill children.
And you know what? He knows enough to know that if he sold out his mom, the children would be saved, and he didn't do it. I don't know if he
knows they kill children because he was taken when he was like younger.
He knows if he tells them, the police, Hugh Jackman, whoever, your two kids are there, that they'll have their kids again.
And remember, Dave, Melissa Leo literally says when she's holding the gun when Hugh's in the Trans Am, she says, by the way, I think you should know, he didn't want me to keep him. He wanted to take him back. He just wanted to play with them. I'm the one who made him let me keep them. So he fucking knew, dude. Like, he fucking knew. And you know what? It is like, I'm not the theme, I'm not fighting with you, Dave, but everybody's a prisoner. Their mission succeeds. They turned the parents into demons, into monsters willing to do anything. But I still would have done the same fucking thing. Jeff, you're right. If that guy had said that to me and he had my little child, I would do I would do anything to him.
Like, is my husband gonna go to jail? Probably. It's like,
probably.
Remind me to never stay in John's fucking Airbnb.
Don't take my kids, Dave. Don't take my fucking
guys.
We're not going to have any issues if you don't fucking.
You promised me your firstborn. What are you talking about,
guys? How great is it that one? So Jake goes and interviews as many of the sex offenders as he can. How great is it that the one's a priest and he was actually trying to do good by basically serving penance by kidnapping worse sex offenders? Come on, that's good. Oh, you bastards.
So good. That whole middle section is is so tense, and the very horror movie kind of thing you were saying, Dave, like just that little montage in the middle of just we're deep in a crime murder mystery, and he's like interviewing really sketchy characters. Anything is possible. Freaky basement. That basement didn't have to look like that. No. You know what I mean? But like, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they fucking dropped him into a dark hole.
Yeah,
and it was like painted all weird.
Also, they love doing that as well. Like you got certainly in one other basement, you got the door open, you got the frame of like the square of light at the top of the stairs, and then the torch lit the rest of the scene. Same deal when he dropped down there. You got the square of light on the floor, and the torch lit the rest until he found a light switch. That was thematic. They were doing that all the way through because you drop in, you're trapped in that square.
Do you know how with gun control we want red flag laws, except they'll never pass because Republican donations come from healthcare companies who profit off of death and destruction.
Jesus. Great segue, motherfucker.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
It's very profitable business. People go into hospitals, if you didn't know that. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I know.
How is Paul Dano allowed to buy and have this RV? There have to be red flag laws against that. His character.
It's not his. Dude, remember in the background of her husband's picture is the RV.
Yeah.
It was her husband's.
He did have a license. How did
he get a fucking license? Yeah, how the fuck did he get a license?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, dude, I remember having someone tell me the story of how they came here from the Philippines, where they bribed the person they were taking the test and got a license in the Philippines, and then came here and swapped it for an American one because every other state except New York will just swap it over for you. So they never actually learned to drive or took a road test.
No, you're right, man. You're right.
Also, I should be clear. It's not just the healthcare companies profit off of tax and destruction. It's because they've sold out. You guys can have chaos and killing each other as long as we have tax breaks. So it's a really good trade-off that they have. But I think that...
they're doing great. They got everything they wanted.
I think that that house, unfortunately, that the RV was parked in front of looks a whole lot like my grandma's house in Whippany, New Jersey.
It looks like every house in my fucking neighborhood. That neighborhood is
just like, and I was like, damn it, fuck. I was like, I know this is
movie
not a
made
good
me
house,
want to watch
just like my grandparents' house. Different.
What was
but
the last
similar.
time you guys watched Bones and Lovely Bones?
Lovely Bones. Yeah.
I called it the Lovely Bones house. I literally called it the Lovely Bones house.
Yeah. Is that Stanley Tucci?
Guys, one of the best stories is Ryan Gosling gaining all this weight for the role because that was in the book, and then Peter Jackson firing him because he didn't look attractive anymore. And he said, the guy is supposed to be, look where he lives. Look at this house. This guy doesn't work out as much as me. I have a trainer and a fucking chef. This guy does not have that. He looks like your average American who's sad and unhappy because this is the house he lives in, and therefore...
Wasn't Ryan Gosling's the producer's idea, though? I heard he didn't want him in the first place.
For Lovely Bones? Yeah. So was he going to play Stanley Tucci's role?
No, he was going to play Wahlberg's role. They flipped. So if you walk back, Wahlberg did that role. He pulled a Paul Dano and
do your Wahlberg
he did
voice again, by the way. Do the voice.
Hey, I know you like some chickens. I have chickens too. We got to get out of here, guys. Come on. Oh, Jesus. It's kind of John Heater, but it's both. We have to go. God. Guys, come on. He's good in The Departed. I like Mark. David. Also, guys, come on. Mark Wahlberg co-produced this movie with his partner Stephen Levinson and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah,
but come on, Mark Wahlberg.
I didn't know that, dude.
This went through a couple of iterations too before it was actually produced. So.
No doubt. God, I'm just so glad it got made. I just want to call out a couple scenes. I don't know if there were any like standout scenes or sequences for you guys.
When they murdered a deer on camera, that was really kind of them. I hope they ate that deer. Also, can PETA back off if you kill a deer but you feed if you feed a family with it? Like, is that okay, or you're just not allowed to? Because people kill deer. I don't know what the rules are with that because that looked pretty authentic.
It looks fucking real. I don't know how they did that.
It was a good really fake real.
Deer, I'm sure.
Dave, your boy either nailed it with the composite or something, but I just hope that deer. I hope that deer got eaten because it looked pretty real.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Sequence, my wife was sitting next to me and she went, "Oh, Bambi's mom."
Yep. Goodbye.
I can hear it chuckling from the other room right now. She's so proud of that joke.
Oh my god, it's so good. Bambi doesn't have a mom, but man, she's delicious. Yeah.
The Lord's Prayer could have been so cheesy, especially the callback when he says, and we forgive those who trespass against us, when he can't say forgive. Like, there are so many things that could have been cheesy.
Yeah. I said, I don't usually love movies that open with a prayer. The Lord's Prayer, as you're about to murder a deer, especially. I was like, I don't usually love movies that open with Dear Father. I'm like, oh, God, can we just get to the movie? But it's like, yeah, you're right.
I love it. I love what they did with it. Okay. One of the standout scenes for me this time, and I remembered this happening, but I don't think I remembered this how long the scene lasted. Is the first time that Jake is staking out Hugh, and Hugh just walks over to his car and he gets in and he's drinking.
Yeah.
And they have that really great scene because by that point the movie had kind of turned into, I don't have like a good name for this, but after everybody's done talking, like after the exposition, and you're just cutting these. There's a lot of shorter sequences together of people doing stuff to move story forward. This movie is a very dialogue driven after the exposition, after the interviews and stuff, and that's one of the few scenes where you really just get them talking to each other again. He's not screaming the whole time, the way he's just so mad at him for
when he does
so
go
many
off,
other scenes.
holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, a fucking Wolverine, dude. It's scary when that man gets upset. That scene really stood out to me. And then just the simple blocking and the mastery of the two performances are great. That final sequence from Melissa Leo when he comes to her house.
Yeah.
I'll burn my hand. Just the whole everything about it. It just I bought it. I really, really bought it. That's my darling husband's recipe. And I just fucking it really touched me this time. That could have been just a masterpiece short film. Just him knocking on the door to lights out. He finds the whistle underneath and then just cut to black.
Kind of Silence of the Lambs, right? There's a lot of
sequence.
silence in that, like that final. Not all of them. I'm not trying to like say like every house terror tunnel story, but that sequence where it's her and the gun and Jake goes to the other place and it's
Yeah, that was very end of Silence of the Lambs.
The throw
there
off,
were all those misdirects.
Because Jake literally says, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I know where you're going. And he doesn't go there. I thought he was going to go there. And even just the tension of Jake hearing her not answering the door, but moving in the house. And he just decides to go in anyway at the very end.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. Really fucking beautiful.
And
I love that
he had
last
already
line.
done
Again,
that.
How
So
cheesy.
and I love the convenience thing you said before. He did that with the priest. So it's a thing he does. It's not like, and he did it with the other guy. So this is like it's a consistent pattern that he goes.
He
into
solves
these
every
houses.
crime. He doesn't necessarily stick to the rules, but he solves every crime.
So,
But the rules
Another
are
thing-
shady when you think there's something in distress, and he heard the footsteps. So even though it'd be his word against hers, and who the fuck knows how that would go.
Another fucking line that could have been super fucking cheesy in the wrong hands. The last line out of her mouth is something like, make sure they cremate me because I don't want to be buried in a box. Or like,
That was
I don't
fucking
want to
chilling.
be imprisoned in a box, right? It's like, that could have been so fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
And like, here's the flag, we're waving it for you, but no, God, I bought it, dude. I bought all of it.
Yeah.
I'm just so impressed.
It was better on the rewatch. Not that it wasn't good in the first one,
Yeah.
but you love a movie that's better the second time, third time you watch it.
Everybody upgrade your Netflix to not have ads and go and 15 ad blocks.
15
Fucking
ads.
assholes.
God damn it. All right, guys, I think we did it. Thank you for choosing it. Jeff, I'm going to give you a little credit because you're.
I really wanted to. This is my choice.
But I
for
didn't
sure.
realize. Yeah, you did not tell us that you watched it when you were with them and were kind of resisting it. You thought it might be too heavy because you pushed for it last week, and I'm glad you did.
Well, I
God,
mean,
it was good.
here's the honest to God truth. I feel like us and everybody, we sometimes need a push to watch movies that we know we want to watch again, but it's like, oh, it's 2 hours. So instead we rewatch The Crown, John, or something like that. But it's like,
And this
it's
one
like
is
hours and hours and hours. I watched 3 episodes of Drive to Survive the other day because it's the new season's coming out in 3 weeks, and it's like there's Denny movies that I haven't seen yet. There's other movies that I haven't seen yet, and to watch one 2 hour and 10-minute movie that I will remember for a very long time, even if it's a rewatch, versus 10 episodes of a series or watching fucking Argyle that I can fall asleep during. It's like, it's sometimes
Yeah,
you
so
just sometimes
for
you
the
need the
record,
push.
This is about 2.5 Apple Watch stand notifications long.
Jesus Christ. We did it, boys.
All right.
I'll throw this detail out too because we didn't mention it in the movies from this year. There's another Denis Villeneuve movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal that came out in 2013 called Enemy.
Oh my God, that was this year?
The same fucking year it came out, and I think they shot Prisoners first, and then he made Enemy very quickly with him up in Vancouver because it's Jake in every scene. It's not a giant cast or anything. It's a little strange. It's weird. It's got a really weird ending that's very popular for people who know Denis movies. But anyway, I just wanted to call that out too.
Jake's been
Great
nominated
year
for
for
what? Jake's been nominated for one Oscar. What was it?
1 Oscar?
He's been nominated for 1, and it's been.
Oh my God! Really? I have no idea. What?
Just 1. Dave?
No idea. Is it?
No idea.
Guess?
Was it Zodiac?
No.
Brokeback Mountain. It's the only thing he's been nominated for so far. Also, it's
good in that movie.
Interesting week. This
I'm
comes
not quitting
out.
you.
I wish I could quit you.
I wish I could quit you.
This week, a French director apparently moved on from working with Jake Gyllenhaal and released a quote that said, "In France, the directors are the ones in control." So it was a little passive aggressive against Jake this past week, but because he chose his tattoos, he chose his rig. A lot of actors get involved, but anyway, so interesting choice.
Wow.
So thank you so much for listening up until this point. We are now going to have Dave spin the random year generator to give us the year, then do what you've been watching, and then we are going to finish out the episode with our movie of next week. So if you want to know what we're watching so you can keep up with us, you got to stick out till the end. But let's spin the random year generator.
I haven't checked to see if yours is linked, so it may not work on your end.
Interesting.
That's okay.
Here we go.
You got a new system.
Yep. Oh, didn't work on your end. Oh my God.
Dave, I don't see it. What is it?
1949.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, we go back that far?
We go back.
Yeah,
to
we
the
do.
30s,
I made him.
dude.
I made him take it back to the 1930, I think.
The musical South Pacific came out this year.
Then we got some good movies in 1949. I'm not.
Yeah, there's some
Right.
there's some good ones to check.
But
there.
we're not going to sit here and Google it in front of you guys. We're going to go right to what you've been watching. So, Dave, we'd love to start with you. You want to?
It's going to be a short one for me. I had I finished up Percy Jackson. Really dug it. Last appearance by Lance Henriksen. No, not Lance Henriksen. What's his name?
Yeah, from John Wick and The Wire.
Yes.
And,
Lance Reddick?
Last appearance from him.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Lance Reddick. Sorry, fucking Henriksen. I was looking for Millennium earlier. That's why. Yeah. Yeah, I pulled the Jeff.
Yeah, fuck.
That's all you watched this week?
That was all I watched this week because I was just working all week. It was nuts.
How was it?
So, yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Oh, actually, no, that's not the only thing. We watched 2 out of the 3 episodes of The Continental.
Oh my God, I forgot that's out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So what is
everybody
it,
forgot that
Amazon?
exists. It's on Peacock.
Peacock.
It's good. I dug it. I'm enjoying the expansion of the mythology and everything. I think it was good.
Cool. Excellent. I watched the first 2 of the 3. I think maybe there's another one available coming up, or it might be on Wednesday, of Lulu Wang's Expats, the new Amazon series with Nicole Kidman. It's gotten people are talking about it. I don't know if you guys have heard about it yet.
I have heard about it. That's the one.
It is worth watching.
It was shot in Hong Kong, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is worth checking out. Lulu Wang made The Farewell, that movie with Awkwafina several years ago, where she got definitely worth checking out. Good adult dramatic storytelling in a foreign land.
Yeah, I think it was shot in Hong Kong, and now it's banned in Hong Kong.
Probably. Yeah, I bet so. I bet they fucking banned that motherfucker. What else? We watched. I came home I love when I come home and Elizabeth's watching like great movies that like gets me going, boys.
Nice. You married well, John. You married well.
I came home the other night and she was watching. She had never seen it. James Gray's We Own the Night. Jeff, you remember that one?
No.
And I had not rewatched that since 2007 when I think you and I saw it together in the theater. And there were some standout things. I think we did, dude. We saw it with, Joaquin's in there. It's another Mark Joaquin. But Robert Duvall plays the dad. Do you remember the story at all?
Nope. Not even the
Dude,
slightest bit.
it's on, I think it's on Max right now. I probably watched the last 2/3 with her. What a fantastic rewatch. Another in the vein of like Prisoners, dramatic crime thriller, family sagas. If you're in the mood for that kind of thing, we did a James Gray movie, Ad Astra, for 2018, not too long ago. It was such a fantastic rewatch. I loved that. And then I have also watched, God damn it, I just watched something else. Anyway, fuck it. How about you, dude?
Well, did you watch Masters of the Air yet?
I haven't watched any more of that yet. I was kind of busy with school earlier in the week.
Episode 1's fine. It's a setup episode. It gets you going. I think episode 2 is the best out of the 3 so far. I think that's the hook episode. Episode 3 is largely one mission, which is great. I
Cool.
really like it. I'm really happy with Masters of the Air. So I can't wait to talk to you about the first fucking 4 episodes next week. All right?
I remembered.
Okay.
I just watched the first episode of this season of Fargo, and I like that show Fargo quite a bit. So I love that show. No complaint.
I'm trying to get through the first season,
Let's
and
go.
it's starting off a little slow for me because the first season seems to look a lot like the movie.
The look, but not the.
It's intentional. It's intentional for sure. There's always the first episode of every season is usually the killing, like the initial crime, and then it's like all the fallout.
Yeah, Dave, give Noah some time.
Anyway.
Give Noah some time.
I'm a Noah fan. I'm gonna keep going.
Mr. Hawley.
So, Masters of the Era, I'm a fan of Apple TV Plus. Shout out. Even though Austin Butler still has his Elvis voice, just let it go, dude. Pandorum, I watched for the Matt and Mark movie show. Pandorum, which is on Prime. You know, if you have the sub, it's free.
Pandorum.
It's a 2009 kind of space drama that was supposed to be part of horror sci-fi. It was supposed to be a part of a bigger series, and it just didn't quite make enough money, so it didn't get into that next place. But it's Ben Foster.
The marketing for it was terrible.
Marketing was bad. I didn't even know what happened. I didn't even know what happened. But it's like so right from Matt and Mark. It's like of course they saw this movie and not. Well, you know, whatever Jeff Bridges won an Oscar for. Like, of course, this is the one that they like. You know, but I saw that and we talked about it on their show. So Pandorum I saw last week, and then the MacGruber show I've been watching, and I've had fun with it. It's not quite as funny as the skit or the movie yet for me. There are definitely funny moments. There are funny songs. There are funny moments. It's a fun ride, and I'm happy to be on it, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to go, because I like the movie, and I downloaded the movie soundtrack after I saw the movie. I liked it so much. So MacGruber, which is on Peacock too, and they gave them way too much money and time. They gave them way too much time and money to do this MacGruber show on Peacock.
Yeah.
So silly. I love
All
it.
right, people, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to decide what movie from 1949 we're talking about. Talk to you in a second. All right.
And we're back.
And we're back.
We are back.
We have
Yes.
made our choice. 1949 in cinema, everybody's favorite year in cinema. And we have chosen The Third Man.
Carol Reed's The Third Man, starring Orson Welles. You're going to love it.
Reminds me of when I woke up after the Rocky Horror Cast Party.
Come on.
People were so excited about this movie. It seems really fun. It is on the Criterion channel, so get your subs up. Watch the Criterion channel. Support the Criterion channel. They do great work. They're basically
ads.
No ads.
Hallelujah.
And they're basically
cancel Netflix and sign up for Criterion.
and they're basically a film archive at this point. So sign up for your Criterion sub, and we'll talk to you next week about The Third Man.
Yes. You can also watch it on Crackle if you don't mind ads.
True.
I can't wait to tell you the highest grossing movies of 1949. I can't wait to do it. All right. See you, film fans.
Peace.